It's on page 4
Page 4.
of the minutes.
Page 4 of the minutes.
Open the meeting at 6 o'clock. It is being recorded.
Minutes that are 4 pages long.
No, we got minutes that are 6 pages long. This just happens to be page 4. So we are looking over meeting minutes of January 11th.
Make a motion, we accept that as written.
I'll second it for discussion. I just got to finish this last page.
We're gonna bring.
Yep. Annually. Yep.
We're good. Okay. All right, all in favor? Aye. I'll sign this copy.
Meeting minutes down there. I don't know why I didn't put them on the agenda. You have the 20th.
Yep.
And you have the executive session.
Okay, so let's take a look at the 20th.
We've got, we're gonna vote on the executive session on the 11th.
Yeah, we got to read them over and then vote on them.
I just don't post them, so they still have to be signed.
And had a hard time getting warmed up in this building. All right. 20.
All right, motion to accept the meeting minutes from executive session, January 11, 2021 as written. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll get it, I was gonna get all three of them.
Yeah, I want to correct the executive session are not signed because I have to show them.
Sign that one.
Those are such good minutes. I hardly remember the decision we made.
We gotta,
But I do recall, so we're good. Can we follow up on that?
that's what I was gonna ask, Joanne. We can, we just have to talk to the finance committee.
And Sarah?
Oh, would you like me to do that?
We can do it.
I'll do it if you want me to, but I didn't understand.
We just want to make sure somebody had an act. We assumed an action item out there, but none of us individually took it.
No, you're right. Can we just make the change in the budget? I don't know if the numbers are in there, but if not, we can,
So you want me
we
to
need to
ask
talk to the finance.
yeah,
Okay.
and make that adjustment in our budget. So when we present it to the finance committee, it's accurate. Thank you,
What
Joanne.
did you ask me to do? Sorry.
Make the change in the budget with the adjustment we made from our meeting.
No, I can't do that. Office there.
We need to call,
So we have to tell Josh what we want to make the change to for, so that when we present it to finance, it's accurate. I think, oh, look, it's on my notes. I think that's right. Yeah, so I'll send you that.
send it to finance.
Because we're gonna present it to finance. I'm not sure if that's right. I gotta add it again.
System, motion to approve. Did we already motion the minute?
Nope.
From the 20th, motion to approve.
Second,
Any discussion?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right, you can sign that one.
All right.
All right. Here you go, Tom. You can sign that one as well and then pass it on over to.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, so I've got 2 things up. Let's see what we can move to get you folks moving along. Excuse me.
These are all community grant contracts. We should flow right through them.
Well, let's do, make a motion to go to new business C, meeting with Pete Sparks to discuss ongoing concern about gate 20. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Hi, Pete. Do you want to sit over here so you,
So people can see and hear you on the camera? That would be awesome.
so welcome.
Thank you.
I know you were here a few years ago.
Yep, in March will be 2 years.
Okay, and you're back.
I'm back, yeah.
What's going on?
Last time I was down, they agreed to take down the sign. We did.
Yeah.
The state police were coming down the road 2 or 3 times a day. So I went out, it was 3 or 4 days ago,
Mhm.
and they did the same thing. They followed, I headed out, and they
Mhm.
followed my ATV tracks back to my house. Now, so I was gone for a while. I was probably gone maybe an hour and a half. I'm on the cemetery commission, so I was back at Beach Hill Cemetery.
Okay.
The tree that was down.
Yep.
So they came back to my house and they started questioning my wife and giving her a hard time about riding up and using that stretch of the road. So he sat there for a while. Fortunately, I didn't come right down. Sat there for a while waiting for him, and then I left.
Mhm.
And or then he left. And I came back and she was shaking.
Okay. Yeah.
So I mean, every time I go back there, I have to carry this notebook. This has, here's the irony of it, because I have, a letter here from the water department so that I can work on Sizer Cemetery and Brookfield Cemetery.
Yep.
Which is not town roads down there. No
Yeah.
problem there. It's just going back to Beach Hill Cemetery, which is all public ways, that they give me a hassle. So I would say, they're down there 3 or 4 times a day, up and down that. And I would say I run into it 2 or 3 times a week. And like I said, depending, some of the interactions are pleasant, but I'd say 90% of them are very confrontational. As far as they're concerned, there's a gate there. If you're on the other side of that gate, you're trespassing. That's
Okay.
all they want to hear. Most of the time.
Same guys or same?
No, that's the
officers?
problem, you see, it's a revolving door. So, I start out the conversation trying to be friendly and stuff. I introduce myself, I talk to these guys. A couple of them, as soon as I get to know them, there's another guy coming down.
Yeah.
It's always a different guy.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the problem. Is they're just not, there's just too much communication there. But last thing I knew, the water department was supposed to make them aware of the fact that was a public way.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, what are they coming down for? If it's a public way, what do
Yeah.
they expect to find? So,
Yeah.
so
It's
it's,
the other 145 gates that they police where they tell them, hey, if there's anybody on the other side of the gate, you're supposed to arrest them and give them a summons. And one gate, they're losing track of.
yeah, right, exactly. I try to show them pictures here, the before and after pictures of the water department case here. Then when we, now when those signs actually see anything different, I say, most of the time that works, but sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
And I half jokingly say, when we were saying, let's get another dig, I said, they're still there, half joking. The guy said he was coming back, and I guess he's not going. He must have got on the horn and talked to some people or talked to some other people and found out what the story was.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Maybe we need to put our own sign on that gate.
Oh, what would it say?
The road beyond this gate is a public way. There is no jurisdiction.
Can we do that?
It's our road. It's their gate. Our
Oh,
road.
Josh, are you raising your hand? Hi, Josh.
Hey, I think the last time they were in front of you and we had talked about this, the agreement wasn't necessarily to take down the signs or the gate, but instead to put up a sign that it is a public way, but no vehicular access. And so I don't know, Pete, I don't know if you're just using that as a walkway or if you're using your 4x4 to get through that gate. And I think that's where the concern is, that
Well,
you're
that was part of the problem. See, initially it was a no trespassing sign.
right.
Then the sign came down, they put up a sign, road closed, no vehicular traffic.
Yeah.
So that's what they were getting me for with a 4-wheeler. So we took that sign down, so there were no signs whatsoever except for the gate number.
Well, when they were here in front of the select board, and we should probably pull up the minutes, but I do recall, that concern being raised. And there was an agreement that there would be no vehicular access behind that gate because there is nothing over there for vehicular access to access that side of the gate. And that includes 4x4s.
What about access to maintain the cemetery though?
That's the only way I can
So
get it.
we're going to, Josh, I think you and I will disagree here that, I just remember that discussion a little bit differently.
Yeah, I do too.
The challenge was that you could have vehicular traffic that could not go off that road. But in order to get on the road, you had to go around the fence post, which is where they were holding the idea that somebody was trespassing, because, you know, it's sort of like, in order to get on this road, you have to go around the post. And to go around the post, you're now on our land
Mhm.
and you're not on the road. So I think that was the agreement to say just back off. That's just my recollection.
I don't remember 100%. It's been 2 years. I would have to look
Yeah.
at the minutes.
And I also care, I mean, I got this here, it's Mass General Law, it says, right, snow vehicles and recreation vehicles may be operated in any way that is not maintained for use for the operation of conventional motor vehicles. I would say that Julius Hall Road beyond that gate pretty much defines that,
Yeah.
not maintained for conventional vehicles.
Do you happen to know when you were here? I was just gonna say,
Oh, it's 2 years ago, March.
March.
it was in March.
Then what?
March 19th.
Okay.
Oh, look at Mary go.
See.
Well, that's when it went in the paper.
It sounds about right.
Visits.
Then you went to court, what, a couple weeks?
Couple weeks after that,
Yeah,
yeah, I was just actually-
Dismissal
I was
here,
looking on the
so
website.
that-
I was
After
looking on the
15 to 20
website.
minutes of unnecessary negotiation, I usually let you leave.
You can ticket me again, but it's gonna happen this way.
Yeah, right, that's exactly right. It's like roundabout, right.
Oh, that just sucks that you have to carry a bundle.
I carry this when we walk. When my wife and I walk down, we're both retired. Every morning we go for our walk, I gotta take this with me. To walk on the road I live on.
No.
So
So,
point out, she won't even go. She won't even, she doesn't want to
We're
walk.
working on it.
like I said, we do have a meeting coming up. And I will definitely bring that up at the meeting. I think that what we need to do is make them aware of the fact that we have a town employee that uses an ATV to access the cemetery back there. And that, can we get, Pete, do you have an ID?
Do you have a town ID?
No, I don't. No.
Can we-
It's a volunteer, right? Position.
So Joanne can make you an
You're
ID.
still part of the cemetery commission, so we can give you a city
It's
ID.
broken.
That would help, yeah.
My battery just died.
I just think
I
as
gotta
long as
put-
that base there, it's just gonna continue. We've gone out for 2 years, I don't see any changes, unless all of a sudden they just send the same content every day, but I don't see that.
What are you looking to do?
I've got to refill myself in or else.
So that's a piece of it, that Josh and Rainey and
There we
myself
go.
have been working with Springfield to actually increase those opportunities and talk about gates that should be open or why are they closed. And it's just a difficult conversation because they're not, they're
So-
sort of budgy, but not quite as budgy as we want them.
So I'm gonna add it to my notes. I added what's a little bit of what you said to my notes to bring up when I have a meeting with them. The other thing I think we should do is get you an ID made. Joanne just said that the ID machine is down, but it'll be fixed next week. But we can get you an ID that's made that you can have and wear to show them that you're working for the town of Blandford. Beyond that, I would say if they do approach you,
You can name a phone number on there. And we can get a hold of you when the machine is working.
if you do end up with a ticket, we can do the same thing we did last time, which was, I believe that we got it waived for you last time because we
Well,
reached out and
Yeah, we had to bring Springfield.
Yeah.
And-
hopefully that doesn't happen.
Great. We have a card instead. Probably. I'll get it. to you. Okay.
What do you think, Josh? Do you think that will, if we get Pete a ID made and then we'll bring this to our meeting with Springfield as part of our discussion?
It's a possibility, sure.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, beyond that, I mean, gosh, we've done so much to take the signs down and everything, and beyond communicating with the Springfield Police Department, or with the state police department, which I think we ended up having to do through Springfield Water last
Yeah,
time.
because Springfield is the contract manager. They direct
Yeah.
us.
So part of my plan would be to say to them, again, you need to please have a part of their, protocol as they're checking gates, that gate number, whatever, that you be allowed to access the cemetery.
So you don't like the idea of taking the gates down?
Oh, well, that's what we're trying for that.
Oh,
We're
okay.
definitely trying. I just want saying,
In the
that we,
meantime.
in the meantime, yeah, that we're having this discussion. Absolutely. No, I 100% think that would be my goal. But in the meantime, I guess that's what we can do to try to help until we get there.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
It's already, it's only been 19 years.
The logical piece is they want the gates in place to protect certain aspects of the property, but the point is where do they move the gates?
But there's another gate right beyond there that protects their property. It's just there. That one has all the signage.
Now I need a password.
Maybe we just need a road grade and a chain
Right.
And the loader would make sure.
and a winter accident.
Says, I'm sorry for your trouble.
Yeah,
I'm
no
sorry that
problem.
they keep bugging you. But, you're certainly prepared.
Yeah, I have a video to show you. I finally just put a dash cam on the AT.
Oh, okay, yeah. You're welcome to if you want to. You went through the trouble, but it's up to you. Sure.
It's very short. In fact, it gets cut off at the end. Because I have to shut my AT. You have to talk to the guy and go around. They'll give you an idea of what
What the interaction
yeah,
started with.
what the situation is like. I don't know if you haven't been out there and actually seen. So there I am coming down to this hall.
But morning or evening?
It's getting late afternoon. You can see my hair lights.
You see?
I just need it to be flipped up a little.
Oh, there you go. Now it looks like snow on the ground instead of blue stuff.
Okay, I'm on the opposite side, the unmaintained side of Julius Hall, as you can obviously see. Up to the gate. Now, see the headlights? That's the state cruise. Hold on.
Yeah.
Pulling up or was he just waiting there for you?
I don't know. You might have been waiting. Good point. I don't know. You can see what they did here. The signs you take, but they got rocks and stumps piled around here. So you can't even really walk around there. So there's this little trail that goes around the side, which is on stone wall to stone wall. So it's still on our property. Okay, so what would I have to do here? Yeah. So around, so we'll go around here.
Yeah.
Now he's going to stop me. It's going to be kind of hard to hear. He's going to stop me here and he's going to tell me there's no trespassing. And I'm going to say, well, no, it is okay.
Yeah, so, okay.
My first
Did you
detail.
hear him? My
Yeah.
first detail.
Yeah. So there's a lot of lack of communication. Okay. So that sounds like that's probably the root of it too, is them just
Yeah.
not passing that on.
Yeah. That's what
Okay.
he says. I need you to inform me. That's what he's telling me.
Yeah. You tell me.
We need you to inform me properly.
Exactly.
Okay, I mean, we're that easy, huh?
Mary, did you have a question?
Well, I wanted to know if Nicole Sanford was still with, Springfield Water and Sewer. She seemed to have a good handle on what was going to happen, removing the signs and allowing access specifically for the cemetery work too. And she did, she did want something from the town that said that is a public way, which we must have provided. And she said she was going to give accurate maps to the police showing the public ways. So,
Well, she still is, like I said, the letter I got from them here giving me access is that September 28th, and it's signed by Nicole Sanford, so I'm assuming she's still the one.
And she was part of our meeting at Springfield
She
Water
was, but-
District
Yeah.
that, we took Rainey and we talked about some roads.
It sounds like it's
Showed
just
them.
communication, Mary.
Yeah, I got the stuff from Rainey here showing what roads are the town roads
Yeah,
and all this stuff here. But
yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much. I
Well, thank
appreciate
you.
it. Sorry that you had to come out. All right. Jennifer, do you have any desire to leave early? We're all set. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Very
it.
much, appreciate it.
And again, we have a meeting with, Springfield. coming up.
Springfield coming up.
We
Am I
can,
allowed-
When?
we can put up a sign on that gate, a town of Blandford sign. just
Okay,
Clearly
Yeah.
saying, public way, no vehicular access with a town seal.
If you put the vehicle access on there, any time somebody goes around there on an ATV, it's gonna be the same situation.
if you say no vehicular access, yeah.
And it's legal, right?
Yeah, no vehicular access unless we're allowing vehicles. Are we allowing vehicles to go beyond that gate?
I would say town vehicles or town employees if we needed someone to do some work on the road, right?
Well, even still, I mean, it's a public way. My neighbor wants to go back there, he should be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
That's the crux of it, the fact that it's a public way protected by a gate that isn't ours. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's the hinge of the whole conversation, what we went through. So it just, here we are Groundhog Day 2 years later, and our resident is still being hassled, so.
I mean, from a recreational point of view, there are very few places in the state of Massachusetts you can legally ride an ATV.
Right.
And that's one of them, non-maintained, a town road that's not maintained for conventional vehicles.
yeah,
Some state forests, but it's gotta be registered. but-
Yeah.
Beyond that gate, we're not maintaining that road beyond that gate. An ATV, all they do is destroy the road more than what it is. So if you want to access the road, yeah, sure, walk your dog, go for a walk, go on a hike, go for a run. But any vehicle beyond that gate currently as it stands is just, not prohibited.
I think I keep going back to the exception being to access the cemetery for maintenance.
So why don't we set up a conversation with Springfield again? Because we really would like an update on access to the public lands that are out here and what their plans are for making those public lands accessible to people.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just part of that conversation, right? So let's ask them to come out and talk about that.
Okay.
Or at least dial in and talk about it.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you,
night.
You too, have a good evening.
All right, you sure, Jennifer? You want to hang? All right, we're gonna go back to.
We'll wait our turn.
All right, we're going back to action items. So first, we've got a contract between the town and Mass Department of Housing and Community Development. Woohoo, Community Development Block Grant. Josh has been working hard, got us another $449,000, $449,825. Reading numbers is not my strength.
Here, I think if we can just take no action or table, if anything, there's still some
Burst my bubble.
stuff going on to get the contract right. So I'll get that ready for your next select board meeting.
Okay,
But congratulations.
Congratulations to you. That's awesome. Do you want to give a reminder as to what these funds are used for, or?
Yeah, this goes back to about a half a year ago or so when we had a representative from PVPC in front of the body here to describe what the grant's about. And the grant's going to be focused specifically on two things. One, housing rehab modifications for income eligible residents. And two, it's going to include doing a town ADA compliance transition plan for each of our public buildings and parks. So that's it. That's the gist of the grant. I mean, if there's any particular questions on that front.
That's great, Josh. That's a big grant. Okay, well, let us know. We'll keep it on action for next week and we'll sign the contract. That's fine. Next up, we have review and take action on contract between the town and the Department of Revenue, Senior Deputy Commissioner for Local Services on behalf of the Secretary of, this is a lot of words.
I know, it killed me too.
Secretary of the Executive Office for Administration and Finance for $15,000 Community Compact Grant for the cost associated with the development of a wage and classification plan. So this has been on our agenda for a while. So now Josh received this grant, 15,000, so that we can tackle our wage and classification plan, which is awesome. So I'll make a motion that says all that stuff, Joanne.
Second.
More discussions.
Any discussion, questions?
So question, so this is through PVPC, correct?
No, this one is through the Executive Office of Administration and Finance, but it's being administered by the Division of Local Service.
Oh, local services. So a local service rep will come out to do this?
No, so
Or-
so behind that contract for this particular item we're talking about, there's a project scope from the UMass Boston Collins for Public Management Institute, I think it is.
We're gonna have some college kids do this?
No, there won't be no college kids doing it. They have it's like a, I don't know what you call it, like a subsidiary institution, right? Their umbrella is UMass Boston, but this institution works with local governments and things like, well, the next thing you're going to talk about is capital planning, things like wage classification schedules. And they have folks on staff with the experience in the background to help lead these efforts.
So we have a standard contract form that says that they'll assign a subcontractor to do the job.
In the standard contract form with the Commonwealth, I mean, I don't think it says anything there about them assigning us, but behind the scenes, when we were trying to identify the project costs, they mentioned them. And they said, hey, reach out to these guys. And apparently this institution has been doing this for local governments across the state since the Community Compact program became available. So they're a trusted vendor in the eyes of the Commonwealth, but they're not, in that contract says nothing about working with them directly, no.
So we'll sign this contract to get the money, and then we have to do another contract with another group to do the work.
Right, so what I told them was once I've settled the contract between the Commonwealth and the town, then we'll have the vendor contract to deal with.
Okay.
But on this particular, I guess just vote on this first and then we can continue to discuss next steps on this front.
Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So I was thinking, and I spoke with Kara on this, since we're talking about town-wide wage classification, it's also going to include studying stipends for town boards and committees, that we establish a committee to kind of, to work with this vendor and oversee this process and these discussions. And I think it'd be great if we strike the balance between the executive branch and the legislative branch, where we include either the moderator or the moderator appoints someone who's active at town meetings. But I did speak with Hobson. He said he'd be more than happy to serve on this committee. So someone on the select board the moderator and someone on the finance committee to be the overseeing advisory group that'll work with, through the study with the vendor. So I propose that if you guys will bless that idea, we can proceed in that direction.
I feel like Eric would be really great at that.
No,
What do you mean, nope?
no, you're gonna be bagging me out with union contract negotiations.
I don't know our
Eric's
tax
gonna be
ID
pretty
number.
busy.
So this is a wage, you,
It's,
I'm doing the thing that I'm not really doing a good job at, but I'm supposed to be doing the thing with you. I can't even think of what it's called. Oh my God.
delegating,
Nope. The
leading,
plan. I'm doing the plan. I'm on the plan committee,
planning and zoning.
the big master plan thing
Oh, master plan.
that I keep getting kicked off of Zoom from.
Oh, Tom's in the building group. So you guys got equal.
You won't have much to do on that.
I'm trying to get out of it. All right, I'll be on it with you. I'll do it.
So I won't, I figured it'd be, this will be a healthy process for this committee to work with this vendor. If I stay away from that, let the town folks come together and go through this report and have these conversations and recommendations. The more I stay out of it, I think the better the final product can be. The more, locally driven it can be.
Okay. All right. I'll do it.
All right, well, more on that. Nothing that's gonna happen anytime within the next week or two, but I'll keep you posted. I think we'll hit the ground running as soon as I bring the vendor contract in front of you for approval and signature, and at that point, we'll start buttoning things up.
This is like buying a house, the amount of papers you need to sign for this thing. Oh, Mary, you're watching me sign this right now.
Okay,
I'm
this is, which one are we signing?
I'm signing the contract with the EOAF, Executive Office
Mhm.
for Administration and Finance.
And
So this, go ahead.
Is that requiring a notary or merely the clerk's seal?
Presence of a notary.
Okay, got it.
Well,
Thank
she's
you.
virtually present.
She's
that
virtually
counts.
present. All right, so I am putting my full legal name,
Ooh, that must be
Carolyn with an E,
L-I-N-N-E or L-Y-N?
Lynne. I probably shouldn't be saying that in public. Someone's gonna steal my identity. Select board chair. Never mind, my middle name's Marie.
Carol Lynn Marie.
No. I'm kidding. All right, the only thing, Joanne, I didn't do was the, I did the fax number and everything. I didn't do the tax ID number. Right there.
I'm not sure I know that, but I'll find
I
out.
think I have it,
Sarah
actually.
would know it.
Yeah, I'll find
We
it.
have that here.
We have it
Sure.
right-
I might have it right here.
you might have it right there on your,
So we have Josh
Facebook.
now, so I don't get involved in a lot of this stuff. Most of
I
what
don't
do
have it.
is-
I used to have it in case
clerical.
I needed to get something for the town, but I don't have it.
But I gave you a sheet that I said had to be filled out for Mary for.
Yes,
getting
this
not-
right here.
Oh, yeah, so one of these has to be filled out, one for the
For this-
15,000 and one for the other one.
Okay. All right, Mary, I'll fill that out for you too.
And you're gonna sign it?
Okay,
Yep. All right, so I think I did that. So that one's good. We approved it. I'm gonna give that to Joanne. This one is, you don't have to sign it, Tom. I just need to give it to Joanne.
What's your address, 61?
This one is the one we are not signing because Josh wanted to work on it some more. So as much as it pains me to do this, I'm gonna just throw it in the recycling bin.
is that
Wait,
the-
which one is that? Because you're talking about the community development block grant one?
Oh, wait, no, this is the,
No, that's the
this
warrant.
is something different. Oops, I almost just threw it.
I didn't put the CDBG contract in your packages.
Oh, so we're tabling the CDBG?
Yeah, I said either take no action or just table it briefly until the final version is final, and I'll bring it in front of you.
Motion to table item
this
A
one's-
until
Right.
next meeting.
Do you need the tax exempt number, Kara?
Yes, if you have it, hold on, let me get there. Okay.
046
Mm-hmm,
001
mm-hmm.
091.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah. All right, so you said A is tabled,
Well, the
B,
motion
we
is
just
tabled, we
did.
just need to vote on
Oh, all in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye. Okay, so are you okay with me moving on while you're doing that, or you want me to wait?
Yes, I am. Where's the other one?
Would,
This is
would
fine.
this be,
And we're not signing.
Kara?
I can sign this one. I'm not signing the one for 449,000,
Okay,
which I don't even have in front of me. All right, we're gonna motion this and then I'll vote it. Yes, Mary?
Would this be a good time to remind the select board that before we can undertake the establishment and from time to time amending a plan for wages and salaries and job classifications, we have to accept enabling legislation from the Mass General laws?
Is that
We
a
went
town
through
vote?
this 4 or 5 years ago.
We're looking at, I'm not sure, I'm not sure if putting together a wage classification plan.
It's
Directly.
chapter 41, section 108A, and I believe we reviewed that at one point with Mark or somebody from Copeland and Page. A
Okay.
town may classify, anyway, we have to accept the Mass General law.
Okay, well, we can look
In order
into
to
that.
implement,
Yeah,
yes.
okay, thank you. We can look into that, and add that on so that we have it all done in time to coordinate.
Okay, good.
Okay, so the I cannot spell and talk at the same time. So the next one up is, we're reviewing a contract between town and the Department of Revenue,
I read.
senior,
Want me to read? You can.
Yes. keep reading.
Okay, review and take action on a contract between the town and Massachusetts Department of Revenue Senior Deputy Commissioner for Local Services on behalf of the Secretary of the Executive Office for Administrative and Finance, EOAF, for a $20,000 community compact grant for costs associated with the development of a capital improvement plan.
Second.
Whew.
Josh, do you want to talk about this one at all?
Yeah, same pot of money here through the Commonwealth, but this is specifically to put together for the town some sort of capital improvement plan that it'll be a tangible, useful document for us so that when we're putting the budget together annually, it includes a schedule of which replacements would need to take place for our large capital assets, be it, issues with public buildings or replacements of vehicles and so forth. And included in that should also be, not just establishing what that plan would look like and would be based on the conditions of these assets and so forth, but also how we manage our capital program. So when we solicit requests for capital projects, that process is outlined and identified, and we can even adopt it as a policy.
That's great. It's definitely needed. Josh, when I put your email, I can put @administrator. That's what I put. Okay.
So where is this?
For some reason, there's always been.
Oh, here, Karen has the original for signature.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, so I seconded.
Ray will.
Is there any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations. Thank you, Josh. And Mary, I'm signing another, so this is the second one. I'm going to print my full name.
Okay, while you're printing, I'll move on with the agenda.
Thank you.
Next item is to receive the quarterly animal control officer activity report. So move.
Second,
Okay, anyone want to talk about it? The only thing, I saw a note in here, that concerned me. That was for the month of December, where, somebody called from the town hall, or at least that's what the speaker's
Yeah.
voicemail said, pretended they were our former ACO and offered someone, a resident of Otis, on how to catch a stray dog. So,
I don't understand how that would even happen.
it's just bad form.
I should really think this should be turned over to Chief O'Nicky.
I did,
You, John.
Chief Phil Nicky is actively investigating that, so I don't have any much more,
Okay,
what's written there until he comes up with some sort of conclusion on the allegation.
Well, I think the important part, Josh, is the important part of that factor is time, right? Because I think we only buffer 30 days of video throughout the facility. So depending on what date the phone call was made, we may not have the video buffered unless the chief's already taken care of that. So, I mean, that's the follow-up item.
and was it a cell phone? And if so, is it one that works?
When I spoke with
That
him,
number was a town hall number.
No, it's a town number. Is that right, Josh?
well, that's what I asked him to do, is look into matching that number. So,
Okay.
Number,
you know,
it's the town hall number.
I just want to make sure it's not a line we're paying for that we don't want to get used.
So the records in the report specifically calls it a town hall number.
Yeah, but I don't know if that was exactly the case.
I know,
I've heard
it's
of
just disconcerting, but other than that, it's nice to have a complete set of quarterly reports. in front of
It's wonderful to have a report. I really appreciate it.
us. Cat and tree for 7 days.
Cat was in the tree for 7 days? Poor thing.
Yeah,
I bet he was glad to get done.
I bet.
telling you.
All right. Next up, we've
So
got,
hold on, motion to accept the report. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
aye. Sorry, I get confused. All right, next up, we've got review and take action on the annual report from ABCC.
That was something that
so-
you are responsible for.
I see town, oh, it's on my,
Right here. So
Email.
it's really just a letter for you to sign, if you haven't signed it already.
this is the annual report from this calendar year to the ABCC. Pretty straightforward. We just share with them number of licenses, established schedule of fees, revenue generated, list of all violations, actions and new findings, if any. Since you guys are the licensing authority, I put this report together in front of you so you can review it, ask questions, vote on it accordingly. That way we can sign off and send it to the Commonwealth.
we have 3, because this is from last year, or we only have
They still
2?
have 3. They still have their license.
Oh,
just
they
didn't
did.
use it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is from last calendar year 2020.
Okay, so motion to approve the town's annual report for ABCC.
second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Make sure you sign if the original.
right here. Next up, review and take action to authorize town administrator and treasurer collector as agents of the town on the commercial card resolution regarding business corporate card from People's Bank. So this is, you guys have finally come up with a way to resolve this. Do you want to tell me about it? Josh?
Yeah, the credit card, so looks like Sarah's found,
Excuse me, Mary found. I would like to take the authorship of this one. I did the legwork and brought it to Sarah and Josh.
Good job, Mary. We're proud of you. Thank you.
Hey,
Hey, no,
Thank you.
only because I was desperate for the town clerk's office. I needed it and we didn't have it. So
Yeah.
I
Well, we
inquired.
definitely need one.
Yeah, this is it's gonna be good. So yeah, so the form in front of you, the commercial card resolution form, has to be completed by the town clerk's office, just kind of, you know, as proof that the vote that'll be taken on today, that both the names that are on this form here have been authorized by the governing body, which is you guys.
Okay,
So if you vote and authorize these two names that are on this list, myself and Sarah, then the town clerk's office can proceed forward to certify that this vote did take place, authorizing these names on this form. And that's what's going on. So you don't have to sign this form, but instead vote to authorize the names on the form. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
yep, and I just added on the top that it took place today, the vote took place today. But that's it. I'm not signing it.
So,
What's your, you got a concern?
yes. And I like everything I see here, with the exception that, I don't know, maybe I'm just being crazy, but, so, I mean, we have the town administrator and then we have a contracted vendor, Sarah,
Okay,
that is holding our credit card. So we have this goes back to Eric McVeigh and full-time employees and vendors, right?
mm-hmm,
You don't have the contractors your cards. You have your employee. You would rather have your employees have the cards, right?
so here's a tricky part with that, though. She's our contractor, but she's also our
I
appointed
treasure collector.
treasurer collector.
So, I can get over it. It's a point to look at that,
I see what you're saying.
as we go down the road, we want to.
So let's
We just
make
do another form
sure,
if we have another person that we need to get a
Yeah.
card for, so it's not a big deal.
and can we make sure, when, because I know Sarah's with us temporarily until, we are able to move on from needing her services. At that point, we just receive the card, make sure there's closure with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So just so you know, you guys did approve the credit card policy.
Yeah.
The card's gonna live in this office, so folks will have to
Yeah.
sign.
One card, okay.
And the whole thing with Sarah being on it is for the checks and balances. She'll be able to log on and see,
Yes,
including myself, we'll have that accountability, me to her and her to me.
Okay.
to make sure that,
And you,
we're not doing anything illegal.
okay. And what if a board needed the card, like the rec department, let's say needed it to purchase something, would you be able to purchase that for them?
Just sign it out. Just if you need anything,
Okay,
you come see this office here. And just like how we sign out our town vehicle,
okay,
we'll know who has it. We'll know what they're getting, what they're purchasing.
Okay.
It'll have a $2,000 limit, so nothing more than that can be
Good.
acquired.
okay,
So
okay. Any more discussion? Did we make a motion? If not, okay. Did we second or do we need someone to second?
Nope, you had a second.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about. No, we're good.
We're good? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, it's about time we finally have a credit card in this town. It's like we're all
We still
grown
don't
up.
have the card yet. We
It's
just have
like
to-
we're
we have
grown up.
Permission to ask for a card. Thank you, Mary.
All right,
Thank
finally,
you.
Jennifer,
Mary,
we have our unfinished business, a COVID-19 update from the Board of Health.
I'll give her a quick COVID-19 update.
Okay,
COVID-19 update for this week. This report is being presented on behalf of the Board of Health and strongly recommended that anybody looking for information on COVID-19 go to the www.mass.gov info details of 19 updates and information. And if they can't find what they're looking for, they may email the Board of Health at boh@healthcare.gov. Or they can schedule an appointment. We are available the first and third Wednesdays of the month.
Okay,
There's nothing.
thank you. We want to go to,
No, I'm more than happy to make my turn.
okay. Do we have any other unfinished business, Josh?
Unfinished business.
No, let's move on.
Yeah, I can
Let's move on.
provide updates under other business, so.
Okay. So new business, we have our all the department expense report. What should we be at right now?
January.
Funny.
Half. Eddie wants half,
A half? I thought we already,
a little over half. Half.
July, August, September, October, November, December, January. We're like 60%, 70%.
There's 12 months.
So 70%. Wait.
July, August, September, October, November.
Oh my God.
December.
I was looking at my.
This is the January report run against the December expenses, so this is 6 months. We should be at 50.
It's Monday.
Ish.
I'm
We
really
should be
tired.
50-ish, and that's how we forget things.
I thought we already passed 50.
We were close.
How are we only 50% through the year?
Christmas spending, you know how it is.
Almost 6 months. 7 months, right?
Yeah,
So we
thanks,
should-
thanks,
other-
Joanne.
Other than the computer thing, we should all be in pretty good shape.
Oh, question, Josh?
For some reason, I thought I had this on your agenda. I guess the only other unfinished business that comes to my mind currently is the warrant for special town meeting.
Okay, we can look at that next.
Did we have to have that out at this meeting, or we have to have it out at next meeting?
It's finalized at this point unless you guys have anything else to change or add or take out, or we can certainly take it up at the next meeting, but it'd have to be posted within that hour.
Library's material budget is at 60%.
Uh-oh.
They're ahead of spending.
Which one?
Library materials are at 60%. They're just on the verge of being ahead of spending.
I guess my only question would be if we have to approve a mass general law regarding the wage situation.
We
Do we
can
want-
do that later in the year after we get the study.
Okay.
Because you get the study.
The library, do you want to know why we're at 60% at the library?
Nope, I'm just giving you grief, Mary, because you're on the phone.
No, seriously. Last year, we didn't spend it all in time to get all of the invoices in, and we had a couple of invoices come in late. So instead of dividing by 12, we divide by 11. And we're trying to spend and do our major book and ebook and whatever we require purchases before June 1st or by June 1st, so that we don't have to worry about things coming in late.
That's a good plan, Mary. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great idea.
I think it looks good. I don't see anything. All right, so let's take a look at our warrant.
We sure?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the only things that we changed, we added a number. No, we did not add a number to number 1.
What do you?
I'm looking at the warrant. I'm sorry, I can't stop yawning.
Yeah, the first bazillion are all paying back expenses.
So, and then the last, we went over all the zoning and planning, and I think, so there were a couple changes made to those, Josh, am I right? That I think,
Yeah, they presented last meeting.
Don and,
The other guy.
yes, my neighbor, whose name is escaping right now,
That's all right.
presented, and there were a couple, Mike, there were a couple changes to make, but other than that,
So this is no big deal then.
there's nothing new, I don't think.
Yeah, the only thing that's new is articles 10 and 11, line item transfer requests. So Article 10 has to do with, the shared economic development. The position is no longer, so we have remaining funds there that we can move around if we need to meet needs. So specifically, transfer station salaries were slightly under budgeted, roughly, well, just under $3,000. So I just
Yep.
put in a round number.
Were they actually under budgeted, or was that a result of us throwing on extra help for COVID response, in which case we get that back?
No, yeah, no, we fixed that, and it's a mistake from this office here. It was the whole understanding of the rates and the employees and averaging out the hours, and so it was when you take, yeah. So it was, yeah. We clearly made the mistake when we populated the figures. So we can take care of this later when it's transfer season time, or we can just take care of this now at town meeting and get out of the way so that we don't have to worry about the department going over budget.
Okay.
And then the other article, our IT budget.
What? The IT budget is over?
The IT budget, it's not over yet, but it's the issue is this, the Office 365 and the user fees
Yeah.
are expiring. And so when I, yeah, we're short, and we're also short a little bit for, to take care of our webmaster as well,
Oh, sorry.
So, I
potentially.
mean, I'm not opposed to the article. Why don't you get us an article to take care of that? And then we'll just add that one and be done.
Say that again?
Why don't you get us an article to take care of those two things?
IT, they're in here.
Are they?
Yeah, they're in there.
Which
So
are
we're
10 and 11.
10
10,
and
11.
I was reading that from the, okay, sorry. I'm not, my bad. We're good then.
All right, motion to approve the warrant. Whoa, hold up. It says annual town meeting.
What?
Sorry.
Special town meeting.
Okay, motion to approve the warrant for special town meeting with the amendment on page 1
Too special.
to special town meeting.
Where? Oh,
On the
it's the
very
title.
front,
Very cover page, baby.
got it.
is there a second?
Yes.
Discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Aye. All right, so that. Okay. We've got our municipal schedule put out by our clerk's office. Here you go, for you.
Can I speak to that, Kara, please?
Sure.
Last year, you'll know, or you'll remember that we were able, because of legislative action giving us permission to move our election as well as the annual town meeting to the end of June or to a date further on.
Yep.
And the select board has that privilege under Mass General Law anyway. I
Okay.
was speaking with state representatives over the weekend, and Governor Polito has been tossing around the idea of extending the CMR that was issued last year that unfortunately only goes through March 31st, giving the authority or permission for select boards to approve moving the annual town meeting and the election. As I said, right now, you can do the annual town meeting. You cannot move the election because that's established by our bylaw. But they are contemplating giving the municipalities permission to move the date of the annual town election if we want to, but nothing has been done about it yet. So as it stands, the municipal schedule is the way it's going to be until
Okay.
such time as we may have an option. So you might want to think about that. I will say it certainly gave us a great breather last year with everything else that was going on to be able to do the election as well as the annual town meeting in June rather than in May, beginning of May. Gave us an extra 6 or 8 weeks.
Okay.
So
So we can keep that in mind anyways.
Just keep it in mind, please.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
We'll keep you posted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So yeah, nothing else too major. We have a caucus coming up first Monday in March. So if you're thinking about running for any positions, so what we need to do is know, yeah, by February 22nd, we'll know what positions are open for the caucus. So that's actually coming up.
Mary's taking over for
Who? What?
Carrie,
Who?
Carrie, my daughter.
Oh, cool. Okay.
On the school board.
Oh, she's gonna run for school committee. Awesome.
You should see Mary.
So she should, yeah, so she will have, someone will, if she's interested in running, someone will nominate her at the caucus, and then she'll have to sign the
She
paperwork.
has to make sure that she has somebody at the caucus who's willing to nominate her.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Because if you go there thinking someone's gonna nominate you without talking to them, you could be standing in the back of the room waiting for a nomination.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned it in executive committee meeting, but in public meeting, Eric McVeigh does not intend to seek re-election as a selectman.
Yeah, you can make
It's
note of
just
that.
more for, there's plenty of people in town.
So
that-
get your
that will watch
campaign
this,
started.
That will watch this video at some time and they'll know that
Yeah.
I am not seeking re-election, so we can take a little break.
But if I nominate you and your name goes on the ballot and you get voted in, oh,
You
well.
can launch your own writing campaign. I suppose I need 8 votes to make it. Whatever.
Been there, done that. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. All right, so next up, we have our Board of Health Vaccine Clinic. This is exciting stuff.
Booyah.
It is. So this report is being presented on behalf of the in preparation for that, we're in the process of being approved. We have filled out the necessary paperwork. It's been submitted. Some have come back with okay, some have come back with some questions. There are different entities of this. And we're only doing this for the COVID-19 vaccine.
COVID-19 vaccine, okay.
Only.
Josh, can you hear this okay? I'm having a little trouble.
No,
So am I.
Yeah, it's hard to hear on this end. Jen, there's a mic that's hanging down from the ceiling a little bit.
Oh, do you see it right here?
Right there?
Thank you.
Just, you can sit in
Okay.
the chair.
Well, if I take my mask.
But just so they can hear you in the mic, that's all, because this is important, it is really important and people are gonna want to hear it.
For sure.
So, well, right now, as I had explained to COA, it's almost like a, action camera, roll type thing.
Yeah.
We're in the beginning process.
Okay,
So let's see, after that, okay, so the cost can't be determined on this, what it's gonna cost us at this point. We do know that we need refrigeration, EMTs, miscellaneous supplies, and also the insurance. This may require us to get, I don't know what the town has for insurance, but it
Okay.
might require that we have additional insurance. Which
okay,
at that point, I can discuss that with whomever handles our insurance and then come back to you guys with what that would be.
okay.
Do we need refrigeration or do we need freezers?
We have both.
It's both. They call refrigerator, yeah, but it can't be a side by side. It can't be a regular kitchen type.
Okay,
There's specific standards on what we need for refrigeration. But we'll handle that. That's.
okay,
Okay.
We'll follow whatever guidelines.
okay,
That's been given to us. And we'll follow all the rules in transporting it and when we have to order it and all of that. So we have that. So with the insurance, should that be, then we'll come back to you guys.
Okay.
And
What's the
we'll
insurance piece?
discuss that at
we may
that
need
time.
to make sure we have some added, we may
With
need,
Micah?
yeah, that would be a Sarah question, I think.
I think I would go to Sarah and ask her.
Yeah.
And then whatever she comes back to, with whatever, I'll come back to you guys. with.
Yeah, Sarah's just gonna direct you over here. So I'll follow up with our insurance rep. to confirm that. That's, if we're not already covered, I'll find out
Okay,
additional insurance we might need to get covered.
So are we looking at so I
We
know
don't
this is,
know that we need the additional insurance yet. They'll let us know that through the approval process.
Mm.
So once I know that,
Okay.
I'll put our next.
so we don't have a date or anything yet.
So what we are looking at, is we are looking at, we're looking at going on the map for mid to end of February.
Okay,
And when I say on the map, that means where you will be one of those little dots on the map where you can click on and say, you can get your vaccine here. However, I requested that we'll just do it for Blandford residents. We're not doing it for. And
so people will sign up in advance?
so the way that it's gonna work, we're looking to do this sometime to mid to late February, Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesdays will be from like 5 to 8:30, and during that time, we really can't have any other activities going on in the town hall. And I think Tuesdays are pretty fair.
Yeah.
day here. And same with Saturdays, 7 to 5.
Okay,
And this clinic would run until, we would be starting in the phase 2. At that point, residents will be, at that point, once we're approved, will get a link that they can go in and register, fill out all the paperwork, make the appointment, come in, and then our processes, it would come in during their appointment. We'll take about 5 people for every 20 minutes. They'll let us know that they're there. We'll have runners. There'll be a lot of people involved in this. We'll go out to the car, give them, verify paperwork's correct, whatever. Then they'll come in, do it. They'll sit, they'll wait. There'll be a section. We're gonna do it in the gym. They'll sit, they'll wait until their time is up. Hopefully we'll be fine and go home.
okay. Is there a way we can set up some sort of a program for elderly who might need some help, or anyone that needs some help? I shouldn't, that's
For the
ageism.
internet or just
With
getting
internet,
appointment?
yeah,
Margaret, I spoke with Margaret on the phone.
okay,
Once, again, we're approved and we can get access to this program, she will make some of the calls and we'll work out a system
okay,
where they will be accommodated. Yes.
perfect,
We've
Thank
already
you.
talked to
Yeah.
her.
both those without internet, and then of course the COA vehicle
yeah,
transportation.
Yeah, she'll be a great,
okay,
so yeah, I spoke with her on this.
perfect, thank you.
And so is this the only thing I missed here, is this the intent of this is to be a paid for clinic or a non-paid, a free clinic? What is this?
It will go through their insurance. So it goes through their insurance, and to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure how that works. I know that we would get reimbursed. I think it's like $90 per vaccine. We get reimbursed.
So it depends on
And
what
it's
their
paid
insurance
through
is.
the insurance.
Okay.
I'm not, see, that's the whole part, but I can't really get into that part until I know that we're approved at this.
Yeah, that
You know
just
what I mean?
adds a wrinkle, right? How do you take money? How do you fill out forms? How do you do all that
Yeah.
stuff, right? So,
Jennifer, I got my first shot at PMC. When I filled out the paperwork on the internet, the vaccine was no charge. The administration was charged to my insurance.
Okay,
so we'll
so
have-
that, it sounds like that, whatever the link,
It could
Could
be,
be.
it could also have been the phase that they
Yeah.
were in. You have options, there's several different options that you can take
okay,
in doing this, so. I
okay,
mean, it can be if you don't have insurance, we're still gonna provide the vaccine.
Absolutely.
It's not
yeah,
we're gonna accept the Medicaid, Medicare, and all of that. And insurance, everybody will have an opportunity.
okay. So we'll be in phase 2 come,
February 1st,
okay,
but we're not gonna hit the February 1st deadline. Because there's 3 places to be approved from, and we've only had approval from 1 place. So we have 2 other places to go. once we get that approval, once I get the second approval, we'll start getting refrigeration, we'll start doing all that and start getting more.
Just, I guess the only ask I would have is if there's a methodology for us to make it a free vaccine clinic, and it only takes a few dollars from the town, I would love to see us go that way rather than get bogged down and doing all people's paperwork and collecting insurance and doing all that stuff.
Mhm.
If it's to make it happen, it takes $2,000 to $5,000 from the town to make it happen, make it happen. But if
Well,
it's,
the one piece I have not been given
yeah, and that's
is how
right.
much this vaccine's gonna cost. them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I only
absolutely.
know that we're gonna be allowed 100 vaccines a week. And I only know that I can order it on a Wednesday and I'll get it the following week.
Right. And
So that's all I know.
okay, and that's the, that's the challenge. I don't know if Tom got vaccinated on your own, or if that was part of you being a volunteer
Part of-
firefighter.
Right.
So,
So that's
some of the
the
emergency
first
people,
responder.
first responders get it for free.
Yeah.
I don't, if it's the same hold true and the doses come here for free, great, let's find a way to administer them for free. But if not, that's,
And I
It could just
don't
be stuff.
believe that's gonna be the fact, especially when you go into phase 3.
okay,
Yeah,
that's fair.
phase 3 is
I
gonna
see.
start to get crazy. All right. Well, I'm really glad that we're offering it up here. I think it's gonna be really helpful to our population that has a hard time getting down to Westfield or to, some of my friends that have had it so far have had to go to Mercy or, so it can be a hike. So it's great for our elderly population. And then hopefully we can start to have some COA things going on again once people are vaccinated.
I think it's great that the Board of Health is being as proactive as they are.
We appreciate it. And I know that you guys do a lot of work. You signed up for pretty,
Let them know.
you signed up to do the transfer station and end up with a pandemic. So we really appreciate it.
No problem.
Think about this. This looks so good for your resume.
Yeah.
She's saying, how come Eric got to say he's not running again? What do I do?
Yeah, right? Thank you. We appreciate it. All right. What's next? Oh, discuss the expired Families First Act and possible extending for Blanford employees. What is that? It's freezing here.
I know,
It is.
temperature dropped like a rock.
You want me to dive in?
Yeah.
So
Jennifer, you don't have anything else for us, do you?
Okay.
No. Okay. Go ahead, Josh.
So the Families First Act has to do with the federal act that passed allowing not just municipalities, but businesses to offer their full-time employees, those that get diagnosed with COVID, up to an additional 80 hours that are separate from their already established accrued time. So this act expired,
Excuse me.
except that there is a provision in the act that allows for municipalities, local government authorities to adapt some sort of an extension if and when such a case appears. So I put this in here because there is, as I reported prior to or before, that an employee in the town that was diagnosed with being positive with COVID. And so I'm guess just bringing this up to allow you to know your options. If this is something that we adopt, then this or any employee that's tested positive with COVID, they wouldn't have to use any of their accrued time or sick time. If we don't, it's expired. Employees would have to use their sick time.
Is that the way it's written? Because when it says we can give additional hours are usually applied in the business setting of, hey, you've used up your vacation or your sick leave. In order to ease the burden on your family, we have this additional group of hours.
Yeah, no, I see what you
So, I mean, it's to ensure that an employee's illness or their, I'm going to say their mandatory stay pay for being quarantined at home doesn't put them at risk of losing their employment because they can't report to work and they don't have a way to cover the time off through vacation. But if an employee has that available, then there would be no reason to authorize the additional hours, right?
Well, I think it's also if they have to be quarantined because they're like, they've been possibly exposed and are waiting on testing,
Right.
they don't have to use their sick time. Yeah.
No, it's as straightforward as it sounds, Eric, but I see your point. No, it's not like that. Right, so if you've been directed to quarantine, then, you know, if this act is made available, then certainly folks would just don't have to worry about using their sick time or accrued time and just get 80 hours of or 2 weeks of time off to quarantine.
So what?
Isn't the law written that that's supposed to be after vacation time? is used?
Yeah, that's what, when it says additional hours,
Yes,
that means you've used up,
not,
Not
not.
as flexible as-
not in substitution of. So,
Oh, you mean, no. So you're saying that once it runs out, they have the option too, right?
right, this is,
No, it's not like that.
it's legalese way of doing Family Medical Leave Act, right?
Right.
Family Medical Leave Act is the same thing that says, hey, you're authorized this time. The decision for municipalities, of course, is it paid time or is it unpaid time, or are we just authorizing you the time so that it's not counted against you for absenteeism at work, so that you can then be discharged for not being at work because you were sick or taking care of a family member. So that's what the additional hours are for. They're not necessarily paid. Is that correct?
I can double check on that. My guess is no, but I can look into that. Either way, if this is something you guys want to potentially support, if that's the case, an employee is diagnosed with COVID, they use up their available accrued time, do we make this available for those employees?
I don't see it as a
I'll
bad
double
idea,
check that.
Josh. We just need clarification on whether it's paid time, whether it's unpaid time,
Yeah.
or what the intent is, right? That makes sense, because we don't want to vote yes and then not know what we're managing.
I'd like to see us postpone this while he gets the extra information.
Can we move it to an action item for our next meeting to vote on?
Sure.
I think our caller has a question.
Hi, this is Rainey.
Hi, Rainey.
Hey, Rainey.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I would just like to point something out because unfortunately I've been dove into this pretty heavy for the last 3-4 days on all the options and everything going on, and some discussion with Jen and some discussion with Josh. I would like to point out one thing. From what I had read on it, it is up to the board to make a decision on this. However, one thing I think needs to be taken in consideration. If an individual, no matter who it is, tests positive, they aren't obligated to come tell us. They're supposed to, yes, but they could hide it because it's not reported to the individual. It's not like an individual could test positive and just go, well, I can't afford to use up all my time, so I'm just going to hope for the best. The situation with this is nobody picks to get this, okay? And because of what's transpired, it changed, all of my department pretty radically for a few days there, to where I'm glad to say that the majority of us have gotten, all of us have gotten tested negative. But the problem would be if one of these individuals, including myself, came back positive, it's not through any action of our own, and it is directly from being in contact with people at work. So I was not necessarily wanting to see carte blanche on this, but I think some strong consideration should be given because, again, it could happen to any one of us. And it's a pretty serious burden financially for some people.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Eric just has a few questions and Tom, and we will we'll vote on it next week. or when we have our
I'm
next.
sure,
And if
I'm sure,
if the
actually,
situation materializes that
lots
we
of
have to vote sooner, we can make something happen.
well, thank you.
Thanks, Rainey.
Because, and Josh, it just gets back to my point. I mean, it's a benefit we can make available to people, but we have to know what the benefit entails, right? Whether it's paid time, unpaid, are we just accounting for an absent? Are we paying somebody? Are they off unpaid? We need to know those differences.
Definitely.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of like, it's like a double-edged sword because, in one aspect, you're kind of like saying, well, you know, you don't have to worry about it, which they should be. Everybody should be worried about this. It's a very, very serious issue.
Yeah.
But to the other aspect, it's like, do we want them to be very forthwith with everything that's going on and notify everybody as soon as possible so it isn't a contagious situation?
Yeah, absolutely. I hear what you're saying, and I agree. I don't see why we wouldn't approve it. I think that there are just a couple questions. I mean, honestly, if it was up to me, I would motion it and approve it now, to be honest with you.
I definitely agree with Eric. You got to have some very, very strong specifics on this, though.
Or it just goes pell-mell, right?
Well, I think the specifics are probably there. We just don't know them yet.
Right.
So that's just
Right.
it. Okay. So Josh, do you have other business for us now?
Yeah, a couple of things. One, just so you guys are aware, both Margaret and I, we submitted a grant request to Bay State Health through their Better Together grant. And it was awarded $25,000. Specifically to, a piece of that is to hire an outreach coordinator so that we can assess the digital needs of our elderly population, understand where the gap is and see what we can do to help them bridge that gap. For example, you know, if the coordinator communicates with someone, an elderly from town, and finds out that they're on dial-up, but don't know anything about the broadband project, doesn't even know how to connect, this person will help them navigate the steps and showing them on how to do so. If we connect with someone and it turns out that they're income eligible or they're low income and just can't afford a computer, a large piece of this grant is going to be able to cover the cost of laptops for those households. The other caveat to this grant also is a cultural humility training for the Council on Aging Board to, you know, better understand the cultural differences that may exist in their community and understand, you know, perceptions of it so that we, you know, the body can, you know, as they move forward with decision making on their boards, that they do so with a some degree of cultural awareness. So there's that piece. We're pretty excited about it. There is another grant opportunity we're looking at through Elderly Affairs to see if we can leverage and potentially pay the 99 startup fee for elderly residents, but I don't want to get anybody's hopes up. Obviously, we're brainstorming that idea. We're going to submit the application, see where it goes. But for now, we do have that $25,000 grant award, which is pretty exciting.
To clarify on that, Josh, so that $25,000 comes with the evaluator, or that 25,000 pays for the evaluator?
It's a stipend for the, I guess you're calling it an evaluator, I'm calling it a coordinator of some kind.
Coordinator, sorry.
Yeah, whether it's an intern from the area colleges or maybe even someone from town, it's a stipend. It's the 25, only a small piece of that, only $1,500 of that will be the stipend.
Okay.
MLP had brought up that there's an opportunity to put additional free hotspots in the gym for indoor access in the winter. That opportunity is there. I mean, I told Peter that I'll bring it up to you and see what you guys want to do. The gym's not being used at all. I just, you know, it's not going to cost us anything to do it, but I just, why do it when there isn't a need for at the moment? But unless you guys have some sort of other idea. I know there was ideas shared about possibly, I don't know, coordinating, I don't know what you'd call it, visits where folks can set up in the gym to use internet or whatever the case. Obviously, that would have to be something that would have to come up with a plan to actually manage. But did you guys, is there anything you want me to tell Peter to go ahead and do it, or should we even do it at all?
My only thought is in support of the Board of Health, that if the Board of Health ends up doing some kind of a vaccine clinic or something in there, somebody's gonna have something that they need to use to document stuff.
So there's
there would be benefit to having wireless.
We have
inside the
wireless in
gymnasium.
there.
There is adequate wireless internet. That's only if, I guess this is if, in case there's multiple people connecting to the wireless internet. So if you have 20
But
people in the
Is
gym.
this a loaner or is it permanent?
It's a loaner. It's like the situation we've got in the window of the police department or the out there right now, where you can go out and you can hop on
So
the
it's a
5G.
booster. So it's just a booster.
It's a booster. I mean, sure, we could go for it, put it in there, and then if anyone has a need for it, but I don't know, managing it would be tricky, but I guess let's just cross that bridge when we get there. I don't know. I feel like if they're offering to do it, we might as well.
The
Put it
worst
in
thing we have to do is return it. My best case scenario is the booster is available and we have a vaccine clinic and it helps our vaccine.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But I'd like to have the Board of Health input on how that could be set up to be compliant with COVID rules.
what, wireless?
Well, people going in there,
I don't even
Oh,
think anyone's
I don't think we're at that bridge at all.
okay,
Excuse me.
I don't even know if, I mean, most kids that are remote right now, I think we're sort of, kids that are remote right now sort of have their setup situation. They're doing what they're doing.
And they'll be back to school soon.
And hopefully they'll be back to school soon. So I think that if they're offering the booster, we'll take the booster, but I don't think we're gonna really have a need. I mean, if a parent reached out and said, hey, do you guys have anything? Can I bring my kid up into the gym? We could take a look at if the gym's open, if the clinic's not going on, whatever, but
By the time we get installation,
yeah,
and then we would have to develop a plan.
maybe they'll forget about it and we'll just get to keep them.
I'm not saying that, I just, it's chicken and the egg. Let's get the egg landed and then let's worry about the chicken hatch.
Well, that's, yeah, it's what it is. It's just high speed so that if there's 10 or 20 people trying to log on and stream at once, that'll support. I don't see that happening here at all, but I can definitely tell Peter to just proceed forward anyways and have them do it just in case.
Yep.
Okay. Will do.
It doesn't mean that won't develop into some other kind of after-school activity.
Yeah, I was just
or
gonna say,
something.
they have a new esports thing.
Yeah, there's a whole, I mean, it just gives us possibilities if it's installed.
I feel like it doesn't really qualify as a sport, but
What's that?
it's computer
Gaming.
games, it's gaming.
Gamer game?
Jennifer, I have a question. When we sign up for a COVID-19 vaccine, it asks us for an ID number from our Board of Health. Are we supposed to get an ID number in the state of Massachusetts? If you go, well, I'm not available yet because I'm phase 2, but they ask you for that. Will they ask you for that same code number? Do you know on phase 2, or is that?
If you're going during your phase, you should be all set. I think when you're starting, I think you jump the phase.
Okay, because it was,
When you're a line
If you need
cutter.
a number, let me know. and I'll
Okay.
get you a number.
yeah, because I was just looking at registering and I thought, oh, if I register now for February, after February 1st, because that's when then I can go get it, but it asks for an ID number. I'm not a line cutter. I'm waiting till
Line cutter.
February.
Line cutter, she wants the ID to cut line.
No, I do
Line
not want to
cutter.
cut line.
I think a lot of that is because they're trying to get everybody to the right.
Stay, yeah.
And so if you're jumping and you're not, and, like, firefighter or EMT or, on them, they want you to have that number to put in.
Yeah.
So that you're special case.
Okay,
You have to get up.
okay, I'll let you know.
Cutter.
I'm not gonna cut. Oh, okay. Do we have anything else, Josh?
Yeah, just to keep you in the loop, the OPM, the owner's project manager, that
Yeah.
we've been in the middle of soliciting proposals. Well, we received 10 proposals total, which is great. So February 2nd, our small little, building advisory group, TJ, Rainey, Tom, plan to convene and start reviewing those proposals. FERCog did supply us with a rubrics so that we can effectively, evaluate each of the proposals.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
So
Great.
hopefully- Yeah. Oh, no, it's great. It was a lot more than what we anticipated.
Absolutely.
So just to keep you updated on that front.
Okay.
The other thing too is swearing in. So the town of Chester is going to be holding some sort of swearing in ceremony for the police chief, for the
Okay.
newly appointed police chief next week, Monday for 6:00 p.m. They're
It's gonna be in Chester?
Gonna be at Chester, yeah. And I did tell her she'd have to coordinate with the town clerk's office to also get sworn in up here as well. But are you guys available at all? All three of you, one of you, two of you?
I should be able to
Let
do
her
that.
know whether or not you'll be
So
attending.
do they want us to be present?
They would love to have you present.
Or, I mean, present or Zoom?
Oh,
like-
that's a great question. I don't know.
Josh, Doris and I were speaking about perhaps we could go as well, or Doris could go as well to participate in swearing in.
Yeah, that would be great. Two birds, one stone.
Yeah, that
Um,
would make it extra special too.
Let me find out if,
Yeah, let me know.
I'll go down anyway for pictures.
yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'll have answers by the end of the night.
Is there coffee and muffins involved?
Monday.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
February 2nd.
Come on,
No, we
Chester.
said Monday, 6 p.m. next Monday.
I thought I said February 2nd. That's February 1st.
That's, yeah, February 1st.
I have two more
Okay.
updates for you, Kara,
Okay.
and then we can,
We gotta be here at 5:30.
Swearing's in at 6, so maybe quarter of or so.
5:30 here to grab the truck and go down there.
Oh, 5:30.
Right
here.
together.
All right, what
What
you got?
here is Shepherd's Farm. This whole deal with the house, the existing structure that's there. Just to keep you aware, I'm gonna actively start looking into this and work with, I know Mick Brennan was in my office today actually, and we're gonna meet again, myself, Mick, as well as Dick Gates on Wednesday. And what I hope to accomplish soon is to have the meeting of the minds together at a future public meeting with the select board, understand what the options are and get some sort of directive on what direction you guys want to do when it comes to this particular property in this house, in this structure.
I feel like we just talk in circles about it.
I know, but if I put it on my whiteboard behind me, it becomes a priority. I think we can start getting things moving.
Yeah, okay.
Can we, Josh, are you taking this out of consideration from master plan at all then?
No, not, I mean, it's all in the air right now. If it comes up in the master plan as additional ideas,
Well, I think there's master planning involved for the whole property, but I think Mick may be concerned specifically about the soundness of the structure.
Yes,
And the town may, the town's gonna have to weigh the benefit of keeping the structure or fixing the structure to maintain
Yeah,
habitability standards.
yeah.
And if you're maintaining habitability standards, the next question would be, why?
That's why.
there was some discussion about removing the house and some of the land from that parcel and exchanging it with other town-owned open space so that we could get
Yeah.
rid of it.
Well, that's the point, is that we talked about that until we're blue in the face, and then nothing's happened. So we talked about that, we found land, we talked about exchanging, and now it just still sits there rotting. So we need to do
Okay.
something.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yep.
thanks, Mary.
cabin masters and they can come down and do a special.
We should have sold it years ago to the people that were interested in farming it.
Yeah, so I just wanted, I mean, I wasn't around when you guys were having these discussions, so I guess
Yeah,
my own self to understand where this
It's
issue
a long time
lies.
ago.
What are the options? What are the solutions?
So now
Let's vet out the pros and cons and come up with some sort of consensus on what you guys want to do.
Okay. I don't even think we can sell it now because there's land in that conservation
Yeah.
situation. That's the whole point, was that we had to
swap.
and then we had like asked, I think June was here, and June, we were asking about properties we could swap with. It was like,
We didn't have it.
no, we found some. Someone came with a list. I don't remember. Someone came with a list of properties we could switch, and then we just, nothing ever happened. So I don't know
All right.
where it fell through the
What else?
cracks, but- What else you got?
The last piece of update, and I guess Rainey can speak to this more than what I can, but it goes back to the bridge on Russell Stage Road.
Stage, bridge down by the.
The mass,
Overpass or the actual?
you know, the water issue that kept accumulating, the ice buildup.
The overpass.
Oh, I just drove through that the other day.
So there appears to, it's about 50% solved, a lot better than what it was before, but there still lies a problem. And I don't, Rainey, do you want to take the stage on that one? And
Yeah, actually, we've been putting in an exorbitant amount of time and material just to maintain this situation. The state did get in and recognize there was a big problem in there that's theirs. Last I spoke to Peter Ferrari was a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me that unfortunately they didn't get to do the second stage of it, and maybe they might have to wait to spring. I had just talked to Josh earlier tonight, explaining that on my way home, I pretty much had it. I stopped, I took a number of photos, I treated it repeatedly, and I know I got to go back there in the morning to scrape it all up.
Yeah.
But I'm be contacting Peter Ferrari in the morning, telling him that, you know, this is just, it's ridiculous. It's obvious it's coming from their part. It is creating an issue. Today, it was pretty bad. And after I got home, I got a call from Russell State Barracks telling me that they had a couple residents complaining of the ice accumulation there under the bridges.
Yeah.
Like I said, I took quite a bit of photos, and I will be talking with Peter Ferrari tomorrow. And if I don't get any satisfaction by noontime, I will be talking with Francesca Henning, who is the director. The least they could do is maybe start putting some of their equipment involved to clean it up and maybe start using their material, or reimburse us for at least 2 or 3 trailer loads of salt, because we're putting an exorbitant amount of material there and a lot of time.
Could
And
we,
frankly, I'm fed up with it.
Yeah.
Hey, Rainey, could you go out on a limb and ask Francesca if this Peter Ferrari has already said, hey, this is our gig. Could we ask Francesca to commit to that 100-foot, 200-foot section underneath the bypass, that they take ownership to maintain it to the state highway standard of
We'll turn it over to them.
no ice or buildup during the winter season, and they can have it until they fix it.
Well, actually, that's my my suggestion was going to be, we're no longer going to be maintaining it as we've been doing it. And then, being that it's a known problem, they've admitted it to be theirs. If there's an accident, it's going to start to fall in their lap.
Mhm.
And I know I'm going to be talking, I'm sure, with probably Dave DeVilder, because he's bridges, Peter Ferrari. I'm sure Mark Moore will be invited. He's the head engineer. I also did put a call into Kevin Whalen, who's the permitting, because we would have to have a permit to do the work required to correct it. And I'm not going to get that permit because it's the footing of a bridge that's for the Mass Turnpike.
Yeah.
So knowing that I've already contacted these people, I was just going to say, Francesca, you know, we all know about it. The state, the governor's office knows about this. So at some point, somebody's got to take responsibility. And we have done everything and more than we should be doing here. And it's still a public safety issue. Now it falls in their lap. I think we should be reimbursed for, I don't know, 100 tons of material at least. And I think that they should take over the maintenance of it until the spring, when they said that they will be able to correct the situation. So I really I don't know how to explain it, but today was kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back. I was, we can only do so much, but if you're not going to let us correct it, then get out here and do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's no reason why they can't come down first thing in the morning and do what's gotta be done, and then last thing in the afternoon, come down and lay salt on it for the evening.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They have vehicles on Route 23. Okay. They have Irish Trucking doing their subcontracting there, and they do 23, and they come down and they turn around in the town hall parking lot. Well,
Yeah.
go further down and take care of the rest of the issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's
So,
that's a turnpike issue. The turnpike should be coming down here and taking care of that.
Yeah, the turnpike's out
Well,
of the.
Well, the photos I took today, I was very careful to take a number of them that really shows that the problem is coming from the eastbound branch of the bridges. It's coming out of the footing, it's going down, and it's traveling across the lanes, creating a big problem. In the past, there were some issues as to whether some of the water was coming from up at that abandoned property and coming out, but it's clear cut that it is not that issue.
That was
And,
the claim for years.
Yeah, well, the plus to it too is I had contacted Gordy. He had taken tests of the water there and at the town hall, and the chemical analysis comes back that it is not town water. It is drainage. So they really don't have a leg to stand on other than fix it and buck up and be responsible.
Yep. Yes, that was a B. For those of you listening at home.
That was a B.
Yes, that was B-U-C-K.
Thank you. Thank you for clarifying, Rainey.
Yeah, the other's already been done.
Going out with a bang. Yeah, thanks for being diligent about that. That's definitely been an issue that's been sort of, again, talked around in circles for years, so I appreciate it.
Well, that's
Josh?
just one more thing that's in my craw that's got to be completed before I go anywhere. So
That's good. Josh, do you have something else?
Yeah, no, I was just saying, I just got word back from Kathy at Chester. So it looks like, there's going to be space for 40 folks socially distanced. And she's working on getting a live feed, so folks can watch from home.
Okay, so town hall, 6 o'clock,
Oh, yeah.
be there or be square.
I told her 5 from Blandford, but then I told her possibly 6, except say Mary is also with the media, but she works for our town clerk's office. So I'm not sure what her media plan was. So she said, yes, Mary, come.
Okay. Sounds like fun. Thank you. Are we good?
Thanks.
Oh, we have to go into executive session. Okay, so I will make a motion to go into executive session in accordance with GL 30A, Section 21A1, to discuss complaints or charges brought against a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual not to reconvene. Roll call vote. Kara says yes.
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 All right. So, Mary, we'll have you log off.
Okay.
Well, we'll need, it on Joanne, because Rainey's on there.
Sarah, Josh, can come in here.
Well, Rainey's on there.
All right.
Just have, Kara, just have Rainey dial into your phone. And Josh can come down.
What about the other person?
Is the other person on?
No.
Oh,
I don't think the other person's gonna show.
so hang on. I'm just gonna stop video and head over, okay? Rainey. I'll put you on
Yes.
the phone. I'm gonna give you a call.
Okay.
What was the letter that was sent out? Did it say via Zoom or was it in person?